Okay. Yeah. Welcome everyone. For those of you just coming in, can you please make your way to the front? There's plenty of room up here. Okay. Thank you. No mai, haere mai. And welcome everyone to the NCEA evening for 2026. Just for your information, this evening is being recorded, and the information on where you might find that after this evening will come out in the school newsletter, so that all of the slides that you see here this evening you'll be able to see again to look at if you want to later on. Ko Patricia Milner Takuingua. My name is Patricia Milner, and I'm one of the Deputy Principals here at Epsom Girls Grammar School, and this year I am the person who oversees the assessment and qualification system here at school. Joining me, you will see our Associate Principal, Miss Joanna Barch, and just beside me here is Philippa Leask, who is our the Director of our Careers and Guidance Department. Just so that we can begin in the way that we always do in terms of formal occasions, as a indication that we are all here together as one, could you please stand for our karakia? Mei karakia tātou. Whakatake te hau ki te uru, whakatake te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. He hi aki ana te ata kura, hei teo, hei huka, hei hauhu, ti he moriora. Thank you. Please sit. So at Epsom Girls we have a long, proud tradition of serving the educational needs of young women and people, affirming and promoting excellence and self-worth. We provide opportunities across the school of all areas to help our students thrive, to achieve their aspirations and to celebrate their achievements. We acknowledge our place in Aotearoa and have a tradition of supporting our national curriculum and qualification system, which is including NCEA. So the purpose of this evening is to inform you about NCEA, to talk about what it means, how it works, and then at the end I will address some of the questions that you asked on the Google form, so that hopefully you will understand a little bit better how it all works. So what is NCEA? It stands for the National Certificate of Educational Achievement, and it is the main qualification for secondary school students in New Zealand. It is recognised by employers, universities and other tertiary education providers, including international universities. NCEA is assessment or qualification part of our New Zealand curriculum, and it offers a range of assessment tasks including internal and external standards, which I'll talk to in a minute, and it gives students opportunities to meet the requirements of the national certificate. Your daughters may ask you, so why do I need a qualification? And of course there's always that story out there that says, I never passed anything at school and look at me now. But we actually know that the reality is that having a qualification starts you off on the best footing. It is your ticket towards achieving your aspirations. So, as the examples show here, within 9 years of leaving school, people with NCEA Level 2 earn twice as much on average as people with no qualification. And staying at school, which is where the majority of our students do, into Level 3 and getting the university entrance means that they will earn 25% more on average than if you just left with Level 2. We've also had lots of examples of students going on from a full NCEA program and our curriculum to international universities. So you can see that here there are just a range of students in places that they've gone to straight from school with the NCEA internationally recognised qualification. As well as this, of course, they go on to achieve their aspirations at our New Zealand universities, such as in engineering, law, medicine, architecture, Toi Whakaari, which is the drama school, Elam, which is the art school, and all of the very many places that they would like to go on to. This is a statement from a student that left our school some time ago, just talking about what she gained out of NCEA and how it was a step for her in the right direction. You'll see that she talks about it being a space where she was intellectually challenged, that she could argue critically and evaluate with her peers, where she was able to showcase the co-curricular activities that she'd been involved in, and that they were recognised and were the best footing for her to be able to compete and to engage with other people at the same level in her space. So, how is it assessed? Well, there are two key ways. The first is through internals, and the second is through externals. It's assessed through standards, and the standards can be two kinds. One is a unit standard, and one is an achievement standard. We offer both here at school. A unit standard can be achieved or not achieved, whereas an achievement standard can gain a range of grades from not achieved, achieved, merit and excellence. So when you see that word name in capitals from now on, you will know what those letters stand for. So there are two kinds, as I said. So an internal standard is the work that we assess here at school. So students undertake assessments or assignments, and they are placed against an achievement standard which has a list of criteria, and if they are at that standard, then they will achieve internally. These internally assessed standards are not just marked here at school, but they are judged nationally through our national moderation process, so that we are constantly being checked to make sure that the grades that we are getting or giving our students are the ones that they deserve and are the ones that will stand up against any other school. So internally assessed achievement standards means that they are completed during the year. Externally assessed standards are ones that are marked by NZQA markers. And in the most cases, this includes the end-of-year exams. And so that, for those of you who've come from different places, this might be a more familiar system where students go and sit an exam, and in that space they might be asked to answer 3 significant assessments, and those are 3 different achievement standards that they are being assessed on. External standards can also look in the form of our common assessment activities called the CAAs, and I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. And of course, the other thing is that's externally assessed is things like the art portfolios. So some of our assessments, the art portfolios and the technology portfolios and some of our language portfolios are work that is done across the year, but they are sent away to an NZQA marker, and that is how they are externally assessed. So those achievement standards are assessed through things called credits. And as you can see, a credit is points awarded for each successful assessment. 1 credit represents roughly 10-hour time investment of teaching, learning and assessment. Most of the achievement standards that students are sitting are worth either 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6, depending on the amount of work that is required. So, for example, an oral presentation might be worth 3 credits, but a portfolio of writing that includes more than one piece of writing and is something that is developed across the year might be worth 6 credits. The achievement standards are graded based on the level at which the student completes the task. So, for example, a student could be sitting a task in year 12, and they might achieve that at level 1, or they might achieve it at level 2. Of course, the other thing that we can see is that as each year goes on, particularly in our senior school, in terms of those NCEA qualifications, the learning becomes more and more complex. In year 11, we made the decision about 5 years ago to not do a full level 1 NCEA course. This is now something that many other schools are doing, such as ours. And you may have noticed that the current government is looking to replace level 1 with a year 11 foundational program. This fits with what we have been doing, which is consolidating learning, the knowledge and the skills, and ensuring we are maximising learning time across this year. However, we also make sure that our students get a really good taster of what NCEA looks like. And so they will do a range of internals and externals in each of their subjects, so that across the year they will have had the opportunity to learn what all of those look like and feel like. They'll have had opportunities to sit formal assessments in their courses. Some of those might be NCEA and some of them might be school-based assessments. So although we say we don't offer a full Year 11 NCEA program, you can be assured that we offer a full Year 11 assessment program, and that the students are well placed and well ready to be able to tackle the much more complex and meaningful qualification that happens at level 2. One of the co-requisites for getting a level certificate is that they have to achieve the co-requisites. And these co-requisites are in literacy, 5 reading and 5 writing, and numeracy, 10 numeracy credits. And what that means is that in order for students to gain their NCEA certificates at level 2 or level 3, they first have to have achieved this co-requisite in literacy and numeracy at level 1. This year, our students can achieve these common assessment tasks through a number of ways. Sometimes they will be offered it as what is essentially an online test, and those happen twice a year in May and September, and sometimes they can do it through achievement standards as well. And in maths and English at Year 11, both of those subjects offer achievement standards that fulfil the criteria required for the co-requisites. So, for Year 11 students this year, They will be sitting in May the 3 co-requisite tests. One will be literacy reading, one will be literacy writing, and one will be literacy numeracy. If they achieve those standards, those co-requisites at that time, then they don't need to sit them again. But a number of our students will need a further opportunity to sit them. So we offer those tests again in September. And then if they are in year 12 or 13, then they continue to be offered those assessments until such time as they achieve them. This means that students, when they leave our school at the end of year 13, have achieved the co-requisites and therefore are able to achieve the qualifications that they have worked so hard towards. In year 12 and 13, we offer additional wraparound support to ensure that they are able to make those milestones. So then we have level 2, which for our students happens at year 12. Within the level 2 program, there is opportunities to pick up further level 1 credits should they need to, but for most of our students, their main focus is on gaining those level 2 credits. And to get a level 2 certificate, they need to have 60 credits at level 2, and then they can bring up 20 of their level 1 credits to make up a total of 80. Level 2 is a big step up from level 1, and so if those of you who have students in year 12 will know that the workload does definitely increase as they come to grips with the different assessments that are required of them. The other thing that happens at level 2 is that for students, many of whom stay and wish to do so, this is the opportunity for them to gain the credits that will give them the financial scholarships when they are applying for universities later at the end of their level 3 year. So for that reason, their level 2 grades are really important. And many of the universities will give a scholarship to their universities. It's a way of enticing students to go there, I suppose, if they get a merit endorsed certificate or an excellence endorsed certificate. And I'll talk about what that endorsement looks like in a minute. And so then we have level 3, which is year 13. And the majority of our students remain all the way through school into level 3, and that of course is because this is the qualification that gives them the best sort of step up, if you like, and it's also the year that they can gain their university entrance. So to gain a level 3 certificate, then they have to gain 60 level 3 credits. But to gain university entrance, they have to achieve 60 level 3 credits, but they also have to achieve 14 credits in 3 university approved subjects, and Miss Leask is going to talk about those a little bit in a minute. And so they have to achieve 3 lots of 14 credits, which essentially means they have to achieve their internals and externals in those different subjects, and they have to pass level 2 literacy. And level 2 literacy means they have to have 5 credits of reading and 5 credits of writing. So university entrance requires 60 level 3 credits, 3 lots of 14 credits of approved subjects, and level 2 university entrance literacy. And of course they also have to have those level 1 literacy and numeracy credits that most of them will have achieved at year 11. Some students are entitled to what we call special assessment conditions, or SACs. These are for students who are requiring particular learning support to make sure that they have equitable access to the qualifications. So they are students who know their information, they've done the learning, but there is some requirement that or condition that they need support in to make sure that they can demonstrate their learning in the same way as everyone else. So we spend some time identifying who those students are and making sure that our special assessment conditions are provided for those students. Our Learning Centre, that's led by Kate Campbell, works really closely with these students and their families to identify and then to provide these conditions. So earlier I talked about this concept of endorsement. So as well as the level 1, 2, 3 NCEA certificates and the need to have that higher bar for university entrance, students can also demonstrate or showcase and celebrate their achievement through endorsements. So NCEA has been established to recognise high achievement, and generally our students are aiming for certificate endorsement at either merit or excellence level. And this takes on two forms. One, as an across-school subject endorsement, and two, as across their level certificate endorsement. So, for a course endorsement, this recognises it in a particular course. So as you can see, to get a course endorsement, then you have to achieve 14 credits. If you're wanting an excellence endorsed certificate, then it will be 14 excellent credits. And if you're wanting a merit certificate subject endorsement, it's 14 credits that come from merit and excellence, or merit or excellence, to come to 14. The example there is that a student in English received 6 excellence credits, 10 merit credits and 2 achieved credits. So you can see that although the excellence doesn't allow them to have an excellence certificate because they've only got 6 excellence, but if we add the 2 merit and excellence together, it's 14 credits. So that then allows them to gain a subject certificate endorsement. So as well as that, they can get across all their subjects certificate endorsement. So that means that they can gain a level 2 or level 3 certificate endorsement. This is when they show high achievement across all of their subjects, and it requires 50 or more credits across all of their subjects. So to gain a level 2 or 3 excellence endorsed certificate, they need to have 50 credits at excellence level. For them to be able to gain a merit endorsed certificate at either level 2 or 3, they need to have 50 credits from drawing from merit and or excellence to make up that 50. This year in our Scholars Assembly with our Year 12, and when we celebrated our Year 12 students going into Year 13, I had a look at the overall results. We had 105 Year 12 students who gained an Excellence Endorsed Certificate, which is a significant number of students, a quarter of our students gaining that high level. It all sounds and looks quite easy when you just see it as a number, but I can assure you that to actually gain 50 credits at excellence level requires an enormous amount of work, because it means that they've gained internal and external credits across those subjects, and they've worked at that high level across the whole year to get there. So if they tell you at any stage that they've got a merit or an excellence endorsed either subject or certificate endorsement, then I think you should be really proud of the work that they've done. And then there's one more sort of higher level overall of the NCEA level qualifications, and that's called scholarship. So for some of our students, they can sit an additional external to gain scholarship. In many subjects, this is an additional exam, but in practical subjects, it could be a portfolio, such as in the visual arts or visual design and communication subjects. This year, we received 13 scholarships in design and visual communication and 24 across the visual arts. We received a total of 74 scholarships across all of the different subjects at our school. So again, this opportunity to work at this really high level of academic learning is possible under the NCEA system, and is certainly possible when you are in a school that affirms and promotes excellence, and so that the students are experiencing that high level of excellence and high expectation across all year levels. Scholarship is, as it says, an opportunity to shine in a subject area that you are passionate about and demonstrate knowledge and that extends beyond level 3. It can happen, it's usually done at level 3, but we do have some students who pick it up and are successful in year 12. So if you are a student out there who's interested in that extension to your learning, then please speak to your teachers and ask them about that. There is lots of information and additional tutorials that are available to support you in that level of learning. It's definitely something that's worth putting on your CV, and it also comes with a financial reward, which is always very helpful when you are looking to pay your fees and hostel fees to go on to university. So, what are the levels of support in the school in terms of kind of overseeing all of this information about NCEA? So we have a person called Marion Steele. She was used to be our Learning Area Director of Mathematics, and she is, I have to say, an absolute statistical wizard, and she is our Senior Manager. So as part of her role, she supports students who have any queries or questions about how things are going for their qualifications. She keeps really clear achievement tracking records, monitoring students' progress, predicting where she thinks they will get to, making sure that the school is really aware of where everybody's up to, and making sure that parents are being communicated with about how that's going. So I'm now going to take a pause and pass over to Philippa Leask, who's going to talk to you now about sort of steps beyond school. Once we've got those qualifications, what are the careers and how do we find out about them?
Tēnā koutou, e tēnei ahi, ko Philippa Leask toko ingoa. Please excuse my voice. Well, good evening, my name's Philippa Leask and I'm the HOD of Career Education here at Epsom Girls Grammar. This evening, my iPad's just timed out. This evening I'd like to give you a brief introduction as to how we can support your students and also have a look at university entrance and pathways to a degree. I'd like to introduce my team to you. So alongside me, Jeanette Ryan is a full-time career practitioner in the department. Harshita Sood is the teacher in charge of vocational pathways and gateway, and our administrator Sahansa Ahangadgoda. So university entrance. This is the minimum requirement to go from school to university, whether that be in New Zealand or overseas. To fulfil the requirements of university entrance, we strongly recommend that students take at least 3 approved subjects at level 3. Your student's dean is aware of the subjects that your student is taking at school and will speak with them if there are any concerns around the approved subjects, as we want our students to have the best opportunity to gain university entrance. A list of approved subjects is available on the NZQA website, and all you have to do is Google approved subjects and that list will come up for you. Many universities also have extra requirements as well as university entrance. Some may require portfolios, interviews, or a rank score. The University of Auckland and the health degrees at AUT are the only 2 universities in New Zealand that use a rank score, and this is derived from students' grades achieved, merit, or excellence at level 3. There are very few degrees that have strict level 3 subject requirements, most notably engineering at any New Zealand university and the Bachelor of Health Science at the University of Auckland. But there are some other degrees that do have these requirements, and these can all be found on an eLearn link, which I'll show you later. eLearn will be transitioning to School Point in the next few weeks, and you'll be able to have a one-stop shop there. That's the address for the approved subjects. So this year we are delivering career education school-wide. Your students will be introduced through their core classes at each year level, and the skills that students learn in these units of work will be crucial to them as they navigate their career throughout their lives. Career Central is the online program that all students at EGS have access to, and it helps students to recognise their skills, interests, values, and conduct job research as we encourage them to find a quality career match. Preparing to find a job and practicing for the interview are also important aspects of career education, and we welcome students into our department as they seek support with this part of their career. I'd like to reassure you that there are many pathways to a degree at university these days. All is not lost if a student doesn't achieve university entrance at the same time as they are working on NCEA Level 3. But for a student to have the most opportunities available to them, gaining university entrance is the most direct way to enter a degree program. All universities in New Zealand and all private training providers offer a variety of ways for a student to reach degree level study through certificate and diploma level study. Through our Vocational Pathways program, we offer students the opportunity to experience work placements, to try out a career. This is overall the most effective way to conduct career research for all students. If you would like to talk about gaining a place in next year's Vocational Pathways program, please speak to me. As I said, access to all this information is currently on eLearn, but it will be soon on Schoolbridge. I would encourage you to access this information, to check that you are taking recommended subjects for pathways, to make sure that your student is on the right track. Also, there is the Careers Pathway booklet, which is the most, which is the most up-to-date resource that we can provide you with for information about subject selection, recommended and required subjects. This should be the first place you look for information regarding subjects, especially at subject selection time, and at the start of each year to determine if any subject changes are required. However, as I said earlier, there is a pathway to very nearly every career should a student be determined and prepared to do the work necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippa. So you will have heard, of course, that there are a number of proposed changes to NCEA. It's been a sort of topic of conversation in the media of late, and so these changes are sort of still under discussion. But just so that you know what we know, we understand that the vocational pathways will become better aligned with industry pathways, that they will in fact remove Level 1 NCEA for all schools and introduce a new foundation literacy and numeracy assessment, which will become what a Year 11 assessment or qualification looks like. They are intending to make more clear, specific subject assessments in particular bundles. Currently you can choose achievement standards from across a number of subjects, but in the proposed changes it'll be very clear which ones fit under each subject, and they are intending to make grades feel more understandable, and the proposal is to have a grade that comes out of 100. So when do we think this new National Certificate of Educational Achievement will happen? So the proposal is that for 2029, in Year 12, it will become something that is part of the New Zealand qualification system. So that means that if you are currently in our Year 9 course, year level, then you will be taking the new NCEA or National Certificate of Educational Achievement, and obviously, if in 2030 you will be taking the new Year 13 NCEA program. And finally, we had a number of questions asked through the Google form. So what I'm going to do is try and answer as many of those questions as I can in the next few slides. And then at the end, if there is anyone who has a burning question that they still want answered, then Miss Barch and I will be here to answer those questions, or of course the Google form that you actually filled in before you came, it's still open. So if you go away and you suddenly have another question, there's your opportunity to ask it. So one of the questions was, how can I help my child prepare for NCEA? So in the first instance, and this is something that our principal, Mrs. McNaughton, talks to students about all of the time, and that is in the formation of good habits. A little bit every day, enough that's age appropriate and achievable. It shouldn't be something that's kind of causing anxiety, but making sure that students are doing regular homework, that they are just covering the basics. They're always here on time, they're arriving prepared for learning, they have the right equipment, they are engaged in class, and when they come home, they are sitting down at a regular place in a regular time doing their homework. We all know the distraction of phones and laptops, and of course in school there is a rule, not just this school but all schools, that there are no phones. So the phones away for the day is the policy, and we are we adhere to that policy very strictly. So students do not have phones as a distraction while they're here. However, we are aware that they do have those at home, and so you can support their learning by making sure that you are alongside them, helping them to monitor and manage their phone use. You can also talk to them about how they're managing all of their work on the computer. So we use Google Classroom as a way of supporting the learning here for many of our students, which requires them to kind of have a whole lot of Google Docs and files. Making sure that they have them filed in a way that is clear, they know exactly where they are, is something that you can kind of sit down and support them by asking them, can you show me where you've put all your English work? Where are you putting your homework? So that they can kind of show you clearly where that is. That's a really good way to help them. And of course, providing them with a space to study. So making sure that that space is quiet and that it is a place where they can go without distractions, and a place where they are feeling, comfortable, is a really good way that you can support them in terms of their study. At school, of course, we have spaces to study, such as in the library, and our teachers will provide their students with all the resources that they need, and so that even if they sometimes might not get them in their lesson, there might be additional resources that they're asked to read or keep up with. Next question. Is there a list of resources, textbooks, solved question papers recommended for the students for taking NCEA? So there's two key places for you to go in terms of sort of nationally required resources, and one's called if you Google NCEA, then you'll get the NCEA website, and that provides you with a whole lot of information. Or you can go to NZQA, which is the New Zealand Qualifications Authority website, and if you click on that, you'll see you can choose the subject and the year level, and when you click on that, you bring up all sorts of resources, including past papers and literacy and numeracy practice tests, for example. What about in school? Do we provide additional classes? So yes, we have a really strong tradition of having peer tutoring in the school. So that is students who are expert in their own fields, in their own subjects, sharing and supporting other students. So if you want to be involved in that program, you just literally need to fill in the form, and you will have a peer tutor assigned to you. We have lots of additional support and extension tutorials. And we also have past students coming back and sharing their experiences of what it's like, what the learning is like for them in university. And our careers department established some really great careers evenings and days for students to hear about all those different things that people are doing, but also to hear about what it's like and how they can best prepare for their next steps. That somebody said they would like a clear timetable of NCEA assessments across the year. So this year on Schoolbridge you will find assessment calendars for every year level, and that tells you exactly what the assessments are across the year levels of year 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Students are encouraged to use these, and of course they now have their student diary. So a really good thing for them to do is look at the assessment calendar, get out their diary and make sure that they've entered those assessments into their diaries so that they can learn early on how to be organised around those things. As well as that, of course, on Schoolbridge, we have a huge amount of information now. So there you can find things like the course selection, the notices, the information and important documents, all there on Schoolbridge. And I know that so many of you have engaged with that already. And finally, this year we are making a real focus on formative assessment. So those formative assessments are, the grades for those are going on our KMAR system, our assessment or our database, and the purpose of them is to give families really clear and early timely indicators of progress that your students are making in their subjects. Of course, you'll know that coming up in week 8, we have our first opportunity for families to come in and talk about how learning's going for each of their students, and that's in our student-led conferences, and information for that will be coming out shortly. And just so someone said, how do we know what's coming up? Of course, the NCEA examination timetable is available online. All you have to do is go NCEA exam 2026 and you will see that the timetable and when all of those exams are on is there. So starting in November the 10th, finishing on December the 4th. Again, it's a great opportunity to sit down with your student and have a look at that, and so that they can kind of plan how they're going to start and prepare for their study as they go into that final examination process. Okay, so as I said, I know there's a lot of information to take on board from that. This slideshow will be shared and has been recorded. If anyone has any further questions that they want to have answered right now, then Ms. Barch and I and Ms. Leask will be up here over the next little while. Otherwise, there's the opportunity to go and ask your question on the Google form that you received as part of the letter. So that we can finish the evening in a formal way and send you off back and to enjoy your evening, could you please stand for closing karakia? Mai karakia tātou. Kia whakaerea te tapu, kia waiti ai te ara, kia turaki whakataha ai, kia turaki whakataha ai, homie hui e tai ki e. Thank you everybody, enjoy your evening.